Well, I mean, the last couple of years was fairly tense for all of us, especially if you're here in Australia. Bloody hell, you weren't allowed to say anything you thought without getting in trouble. But one particular shop owner didn't let that stop him.
You've heard of no jab, no entry. Well, now one Kent Town business is going the other way and locking out customers who've been vaccinated. Experts say while it's a controversial move, there's nothing stopping them from discriminating.
Remember how casually the word experts was thrown around over the last couple of years? And firstly, who are the experts in discrimination? I think it's a really interesting point because the word expert is loaded, isn't it? You say the word and anyone challenges it and you go, hang on a second, are you an expert? Who the heck are you to have this opinion? I mean, even amongst the experts, there's some level of conjecture. Don't you remember? Certain people were saying certain things, and even the experts at times can make mistakes.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
Essentially, vaccines block you from getting and giving the virus.
A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized.
But then here in Australia even, the experts said that every vaccine was safe and effective and make sure that you get it because the one that's best for you is the one that you can get access to. And we said, hey, you reckon you could just sign off on the fact it's safe and effective, and if I have any casualties or any problems with my uptake of the vaccine, you guys will take responsibility for it? They go, no, this is completely your own choice. And we go, okay, so I don't want to do it. And they go, well, you can't go to work then, you dickhead. Get it, but it's your choice. And if you don't get it, you can't go to work. So I'm forcing you to get it, but it is your choice. And then those same experts, as of a couple of weeks ago, just quietly, very, very quietly, removed a safe and effective vaccine from the market here in Australia. Now, the experts, the scientists, the government, they said this is a vaccine which is going to stop the spread, but then they've removed it. Why? Well, because it's very rare, but there's some very serious side effects that come with this vaccine. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. I've linked the articles from the Australian government website in the description below, just so you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
That goes against the grain, doesn't it? I mean, if you've had a COVID vaccine, you should be allowed anywhere, I think.
And it was the attitude of the time. I mean, rightly so. We had so much trust in the people who were saying that this stops the spread and it was the right thing to do. And so when they say it, we go, okay, it's the best thing for our community. But every now and then a cheeky little bugger with a gigantic sign shop says, no, you can't come in here if you have it. And then some lovely old lady gets upset because here's the thing. Genuine conversation wasn't really encouraged at the time. Do you remember how controversial it was to say that you had any questions? My lovely old grandma said, I'm not 100% sure if I want it yet. She'd always trusted experts. But then all of a sudden, with this particular one, people start coming out and yelling at her, conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer. She's like, I'm not, I've just got a couple of questions. It just came out on Tuesday. Now, this was the problem with it. There was no genuine dialogue encouraged. And anywhere where genuine questions and conversations were being had, people started to throw up some pretty serious challenges. And so, as a result, people like this lady who have probably been listening to the health experts go, well, this doesn't make it. I should be able to go anywhere.
The owner of the King William Street business pinned the sign up last week, much to the confusion of locals.
Discriminating against people who are vaccinated, there's no actual underlying justification or reason to need to do that.
I mean, this was the theme of the day. People thought that you could only discriminate against people who hadn't done what the experts had told them to do. Remember when those people who decided that they just wanted to wait and find out whether or not this thing was effective weren't allowed to go to cafes or movies or restaurants or outside, and they had to stay masked where other people didn't? That's the beauty and the frustration of time, I guess. No one today is sitting on a bus going, I don't think that lady should be allowed on this bus based on her religion or the colour of her skin. Or no one saying this people group should be persecuted based on their race or religion. And yet still, with minor issues, or so it seems in comparison to these other things, people go, no, we can discriminate against them because they're not doing what they're told to do. And if they just did what they were told to do, because everyone's thinking it, then they wouldn't be discriminated against. So they're choosing to be discriminated because they're anti-vaxxers, neo-Nazis, I'm pretty sure.
And it appears to be a sign of the times. Earlier this month, Adelaide Hills Winery, bird in hand, announced plans to ban patrons who are not fully vaccinated. But while some are restricting entry,
Very, very interesting.
others have taken to social media to say they won't be taking sides.
I love the tone of concern in the news reporter's voice as he states this very reasonable man's point of view. Some people have decided they won't be taking sides and discriminating against anybody. This guy's clearly a nutcase. He's decided that regardless of race or religion or medical choices, that he won't choose to judge a person based on those things. Instead, he wants everyone to feel welcome. Who is this dickhead?
The owner of the sign-making business didn't want to appear on camera, but has told 7 News he's a COVID denier and has no intentions of taking the sign down.
We're just expected to some degree to trust this man because he's dressed in a beautiful blue suit and he's speaking very professionally to a camera on a so-called trusted news station here in Australia, and he comes out and says the man has claimed that he's a COVID denier, and we've just got to take him at the word for that. We've got no evidence the man ever said that, but this guy said it with such sincerity in his voice that it's so easy to just discredit anything that he has to say because he's a COVID denier. It seems far too convenient for this particular story because, I mean, why would you trust a COVID denier? This guy's just a nutcase. He's gone crazy. I mean, what would be more beneficial is to see the guy who made this decision sit down in a long-form discussion and discuss exactly what it was that he was doing this for. Maybe he was fed up with the discrimination he was feeling and he didn't know how else to deal with it but to discriminate back. I'm not saying that discrimination plus discrimination equals everything's okay, but I am saying I know there's always a little more to the story. And sometimes when you just try and push things down and pretend the person with the opinions is a little bit crazy, it seems to bounce back in a really negative way. I don't know. What do you guys make of all that? It was a very interesting time. I know the beauty of hindsight's so much easier. We can see the mistakes. We can more clearly see the discrimination. And we can also see that things didn't work out exactly as we were told they were going to work out. As much as we're told they did. They didn't quite work out that way. How did you deal with the whole situation? What do you make of articles like this? Let me know in the comments below. Got new videos coming out every week, so like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more. I'll speak to you in the comments below. We'll see you all here again next week.